Hey everyone, I'm Jessica with Grocery Tote. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to be doing another grocery tote. Yes, another grocery tote. Didn't we just do a grocery tote last week? Yes, we did. And do you remember how many fanny pack videos I put out? Two. Two's a good number for me, so we're making 2 grocery tote videos. But again, just like with the fanny packs, we're going to do a little bit different the second time. So since last week, I have been kind of on a grocery tote binge. I've been making grocery totes nonstop. I made a grocery tote using cotton lycra, which is like a knit clothing material. And if you want to see step by step how I did that, go check out my Instagram. I'm at Oaklaroots. That's my Instagram handle right here. So go check that out, and you can see in my stories and in my highlights how I put together the cotton lycra sewing tote bag, which turned out to be super adorable. I also used some woven for that top strip. So if you recall last time, we do a top strip to make a contrast with the bottom part of the bag. In the video that I'll post one of these places, we'll have the little eye in the sky that will take you to that original video. And in that video, I actually used a canvas for the contrasting strap. Since then, I've made a couple bags using a cotton woven, so I'll show you those. Now, I only change up the material for the top. I like canvas, super durable material for the bottom of the bag, but I got a couple different things. So look, so here's one. And this is like a villain's print, which is super cool, but this is just cotton woven, like quilting cotton. There's my tab. And then on the bottom, I just got a different color of that duck cloth canvas. I got my original kind of a neutral canvas. I got this nice navy. I got a dark gray. So they have a lot of options. I got my duck cloth canvas from Hobby Lobby. It was about 10 bucks a yard, which is kind of expensive when you're trying to make a cheap bag. I have gotten it before on clearance. It works out really well. I'm sure you can check other Joann's. Here's one of the other bags. Again, this is a cotton, just a quilting cotton woven. So these turned out really, really cute. So I was thinking, what if we did the lining in a more like water resistant fabric? So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna use pull fabric for the lining. Now I kind of just found out about pull fabric. I saw that it's what people use to make cloth diapers, and babies are messy. So I'm assuming this wipes down very well. So this is my pull fabric. Honestly, I cannot remember the name of the company that I got it from, but the link for it will be below, and I'll put the banner right here of what company it is. But this is it. This is just a nice, see it's nice and shiny. You can see it's got a shiny side and it's got a flat side. So obviously we want the shiny side to be the side that touches the products. But I've never worked with this. Okay, I've never worked with this. I've learned that you have to be kind of particular with this. You want to make sure you don't use a cotton thread. You want to make sure you use a polyester thread. So this is something I got off of Amazon. And I actually bought a 4-pack of this when I was buying thread for my serger. And as you can see, I've never used it because I'm terrified of my serger. This was cheap. I'm sure it was very cheap. And then you also got to use a different type of needle. Now we're supposed to use a needle that has a rounded tip, something that's not too pokey so it doesn't pull at it, I guess. I'm going to be using a Jersey 8012 needles. And then for the top, I'm going to use canvas, pretty canvas. That goes nicely, I think, with the lining. It's not, you don't really see it together, but it'll look pretty. And then the straps will just be a navy cotton webbing, which I'll have a link for that below. This is my favorite cotton webbing. It's a little bit thicker. So it's about 1¼ inches wide, and then it's just very, very thick, which is great. I get this on Etsy, links below. All right, let's get started sewing. Let's do this. Let's see what happens. I have no idea. So here we go. Here's our pull fabric that we're gonna be working with today. Here is our thread that we will use on our sewing machine. Our needles, contrasting canvas fabric, our cotton webbing, and our duck cloth canvas that will be on the bottom of the bag. So what I am probably most interested in is how I'm going to cut, press, and sew my pull fabric. So my lining needs to be 18 inches by 32 inches long. I'm gonna cut the 32-inch strip first by folding this in half to 16 inches. So I'm gonna get my longer ruler. What I'll do is I'll take one of my longer rulers And I'll line it up along the edge at 16 inches because when I double it, right, 16 plus 16 is 32. In the end, this will be 32 inches long. So I'm going to line it up on the 16. I'm going to take my second longer ruler, since this is such a wide piece of fabric, line it up like that. Move this just a tiny bit out of the way. And then I'll use my rotary cutter to just cut this. So far, we're doing okay. I was really worried about this fabric because it is slippery. Okay, so now we know this is a 32 inches. Now we just need this part to be 18 inches. So again, I'm gonna fold this in half, just like that. So I have my crease down here that I used to mark my 32 inches, and then I have my fold I just made. And I need this to be about 9 inches. So here's 9 inches. Other ruler, again, line it up like that. Now we have our 32 inches by 18 inches lining cut. So far so good. Now, the next hard thing with this is pressing. I was reading about pull fabric and I read that you do not want to press it with high heat. So low heat and steam. So here we go. I have my fabric. I decided to put the shiny side down just in case this doesn't go well. I have my pressing mat from So Sweetness. I'll have the link for that below. And I have a spray bottle since my iron doesn't do so well with the steam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a light spray. And I have my iron and I had it set to low. I'm nervous to let it sit in one spot for too long because I don't want it to burn and melt the fabric. I gotta be honest, I'm not so sure how much I like this ironing right now. Okay, so that was using the steam, and honestly, I'm not super happy with it. Let's try just giving it a nice low press without steam. I'm not digging the ironing. So I'm doing something wrong, guys. If you are somebody who works with pull regularly and you iron it, please comment below or send me a message or something and tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I promise you, I gave this a Google. I looked it up and the advice was low heat with some moisture. All right, well, while we're here, let's do a little experiment. Here's my pull fabric and I'm going to give it a spritz. See how it beads up really nicely? And then it just, whoop, whoop, whoop. Look at that. This is why I'm using it, because that moisture, it does not want to be a part. It does not want to be friends with the fabric. The water, look at that. It's like, I'm just visiting. I'm just passing through. I'm not here for dinner. Versus this material, right, which is just quilting cotton. Oh yeah, and it likes that, see? It wants to be buds with the quilt cotton. So this material is water resistant, which is what it's made for. I just thought it'd be fun to give it a little test. Pressing didn't go as I planned. I'm glad we got to test the water, that's nice. So what I'm gonna do now is go attach my two top contrasting flaps to this base navy fabric to make my complete outer panel, and then we'll return and start pinning and practicing sewing with the pull fabric. So we have our exterior panel ready to go. We got the top contrasting flaps sewn on, top stitched, ready. So we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna, before we can add the lining, we have to make our fold over flaps. So on the last video I made making the grocery tote, YouTube user Chris Van Allen mentioned a even easier way to precisely make your foldovers, and I'm gonna use their method today because it's brilliant, and I wish I would have thought of it, but I'm glad that they told me about it because now I'm gonna use it all the time. So we need to make a 1/2 inch fold over, where normally I would take my ruler and I would draw a 1/2 inch line and then I would fold on that line. Their suggestion was make a 1 inch line. So line up the 1 inch with the top of the fabric. This is hard to do with white fabric on a white cutting mat. Draw a line for 1 inch, just like that. And then fold down this fabric to meet the line. And then that will give you a really simple, precise 1/2 inch fold. So I'm gonna go press this, and then I'm gonna do my next fold, press it. So here we go, now we have our 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna use Chris's method again. This time I have to do 1.5 inch fold over. So 1.5 times 2 would be 3 inches. So I'm going to mark a 3 inch line, just like that. And then I'm going to fold this over to meet that line, just kiss it. And then perfect 1.5 inch fold. So here we are. We have our exterior panel all ready to go. It's all sewed together. We have the 1/2 inch fold, then we have the 1.5 inch fold. We're good to go. Now, one of the tips I read, and I'm not trusting my tips so much anymore based off of the ironing experiment, but one of the tips I read was you should not use metal pins with pull fabric. Pull fabric is one of those fabrics, it's like leather. You only want to pierce it once, right? So we're not going to use these. Instead, got a nice little jar here of Wonder Clips. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tuck it in just like I normally do. And remember, there's a flat side. So flat, when I say flat, I'm talking about like flat paint. It's very matte. And there's a shiny side. We want the shiny side up because that would be our right side up. And then I'm just going to clip it in place so it doesn't move around on me. So now let's do our straps. I like to do 30-inch long straps. So now let's mark our center. We know the center will be 9 inches in, and we'll use that to attach the straps. Put our 3-inch line right on that white mark we just made. And then we take our strap, tuck it in over here. Another strap. Okay, so now remember, we need to use a different type of thread and a different type of needle when sewing with this fabric. I'm at my sewing machine and I'm going to put this thread in my machine. I'm going to also use it in my bobbin, and then I'm going to use my jersey needles and change out the needle in my sewing machine. Do you want to watch me do that? All right, let's do it. So I sew with a Juki 2010Q for now. I have a new sewing machine that I have ordered that will come in a few months. Previously for this bag, I was using an Aurifil cotton thread that is 40 weight. But now I'm going to a all-purpose polyester thread. I have no idea what weight this is, but it was on Amazon, and if I can find it, I will put a link for this in the description below. to insert my jersey needle. All right, I've got it all threaded. Do you see? Do you see her? Look at these dogs. I'm gonna use a little test piece. Make sure it sews okay. Yeah, looks okay. I'll give you a little safety advice for a second. So when I sew very thick fabric, like this webbing, my needle breaks sometimes. Needles break, and sometimes they just stay in the machine, and sometimes they fly across the room. To make sure they don't fly into my eyeballs, because I like to keep those, I wear glasses. Yeah, I wear glasses when I sew. I mean, they're prescription, so they help me, but mostly they're eye protection. You do not want a needle going into your eyeball. Just my little PSA. So I'm using about a 3mm stitch length, and then I just do about a 1/4 inch. So again, 1/4 inch seam allowance, but it's going to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this side now. Okay, we got our bag sewn up. That was actually incredibly painless. I don't know why I was so nervous to work with pull fabric. I just had it in my head that it was going to be sliding around everywhere, and there was no way I was going to be able to control it because I can't use my pins. But it's been great. It's been super simple to work with. So now I just continue on with the pattern like I did previously. We outside of the bag showing, and then we're just going to pin along this edge. Make sure these seams match. All right, so I'm gonna take it to the machine. I'm gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance this way. After sewing the 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm now gonna flip the bag inside out. Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sew along both sides at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm gonna be honest, this was probably the most difficult part of working with pull fabric, because this fabric is, it's almost like it's a plastic, right? So it likes to stick to my bottom of my presser foot, and it also likes to stick to the plate on my sewing machine. So this was pretty challenging. If you have a silicone foot, I would suggest using that. I did not. I used a metal foot and I used my metal plate. I upped my stitch length from 2.5mm to 3mm just to help me kind of feed it through faster, but I had to go pretty slow. So word to the wise, if you're sewing with it on both sides, you might need to exercise a little bit more caution. All right, so now I'm just gonna box my corners. All right, let's take it to the machine. I'm just gonna cut off that corner, about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Flip it inside out. Now I'm just gonna go sew along these lines I marked, and then we're done with the bag. Here we go, it's inside out. We just sewed along those black lines that we marked for the box corners. We'll flip it out. That is a beautiful bag, and these colors, come on. I know you're gonna ask. The fabric is from Notorious. It's part of her Floral Wars line. If you go on Facebook and just search for the groups Knittorious, spelled K-N-I-T, like knit, go for there. And she has a lot of different substrates. She uses canvas, she uses bamboo lycra, she uses swim sometimes. She has all kinds of great stuff. I don't know if this is for sale at the time, but it does come up every now and then, so I stock up on it every time she has a listing for it. But look at this great bag. Look how cute this is. And then on the inside, nice and water resistant, so if anything spills, if anything sweats, you don't have to worry about your bag being a soggy mess for days or weeks. So I hope you enjoyed this second grocery tote bag tutorial. This is the last grocery tote bag tutorial that I have planned for the immediate future. So don't worry, next week will be something different. I don't know what, but it will be something different. Don't forget, the original tutorial is by Pearl Soho. I'll have a link for the step-by-step blog post that shows you how to make this bag on their site. I am not affiliated with them. I just think that it's the best grocery tote bag. It is the fastest, it is the easiest, it is the prettiest, it is the most durable, most sturdy, most practical. I don't know, it's the best of everything. It's my favorite. I love it. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. I hope we see each other again soon. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe so that you will be notified and you can keep up with all the latest videos. Tell your friends about me. Make sure to give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, comment any extra tips you have, any questions you have. I will see you later. Bye.